Hey, hello, everybody. It's Carm Capriotto. It is another Wednesday noon Shop-Ware talk. So proud to be here with a Shop-Ware Facebook Live session. This is our second week of doing this, and we have a great panel for you, and this is going to be a ton of fun. I'll introduce my panel. Right now, let me start with Mike Bergeron, Service Manager at Autowerkes Freeport, Maine. Hello there. How are you, Mike? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Doing good up here.
All right, up in Maine, huh? Is it getting ready to get cold up there?
Enjoying the fall. Yes, absolutely. It's been
Cool.
a little warmer and leaves are changing. So yeah, it's beautiful up here.
So glad to have you with us. Also with us is Steve Scott, owner of Garage 47. Hello, Steve. And where are you from?
Good morning. We're in Carmichael, basically suburb of Sacramento, California.
Sacramento. Oh boy, little fires up there.
Yeah, we're getting choked by the smoke, but
choked by the smoke.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mike DelaCruz is with us, and thanks, Scott, Steve, for being here. Mike DelaCruz from Broadly. Hello.
Hey,
Mike.
Carm. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
National Sales Manager Automotive for Broadly. This whole episode is about Broadly and all these really cool things that Broadly and Shop-Ware are doing together. And David Tolkien is with us from Shop-Ware. Good to have you here, David.
Yeah, it's really glad to be here. Good to see everybody again. I'm excited to discuss how these two great companies are working together and what we can do for auto repair shops.
Well, I want to kick this off over to Mike in a minute, but I want you all to realize what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about marketing your shop and what channels have actually worked for you and what hasn't worked, because, there's always two sides to every story. Why do you think online reputation helps you grow? I just spoke to somebody this morning who says it's all about word of mouth and it's all about reputation. And this person has been in the sales side of the automotive for over 10 years and continues to see that proves itself out. Why investing in customer experience? And today, it's all about the experience. And if you don't mention the word customer experience, you're not motivated enough to make sure you're delivering the goods. So I'm going to turn it over to my great friend, Mike DelaCruz. Hey, Mike, you ready?
I am absolutely ready. Thanks. And you're right. It is all about that customer experience. I call it word of mouth 2.0. Reputation management is sort of shifted in this online world. The first thing I want to do is thank Shop-Ware for really allowing Broadly to participate in this discussion. And I also want to thank our mutual clients and friends, Mike and Steve, for taking their time as well. I really appreciate that.
Mike, before you go any further, I just want to encourage anyone who's hanging out with us on Facebook to give us a like, maybe put in your city that you're watching us from, because we could see the Facebook comments here. We all can see the Facebook comments here in our studio. So we care that you're with us. We know there's not a whole lot of people watching us live yet, and we would sure again. The other really beautiful thing about this is that you can watch this over and over on Facebook. So, Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's up to you, man.
Totally cool. And they can't throw tomatoes at me on Facebook Live. So that's a good thing. So I'm super excited to be here and really just share our product with the Shop-Ware community. Broadly is a platform that we all take immense pride in, and we've helped thousands of independent garage owners not only grow their revenue, but build legacies. So in the end, I don't know, I might have some new product announcements. So you're going to have to stick around and wait and see. So nobody outside of Broadly has seen any of these yet. So you all might be the first.
Cool.
All right.
And can I say one thing, Carm? Right before we got started, you said you spoke to someone this morning or recently that said it's only about word of mouth, right? It's just about word of mouth. It's just about word of mouth. And I used to tell this story when I worked with Mike back in the day. And I used to tell this story that my dad used to say, because my dad was always saying, like, what do you do for a living? Like, what exactly is going on? And I told him I was in reputation management. And I used to tell this story where he said, for my dad's generation, if someone said, you should go to a doctor, you should go to a restaurant, you should go here, you should go there, my dad would just go. He wouldn't pick up the phone. He wouldn't do anything else. He would just go to whatever that business was. And my dad, he's around 70 years old. And then I told him that for my generation, so my dad said, you should go check out this Italian restaurant. It's a really good restaurant. He said it's the best restaurant in the world. And like 2 months later, he said, hey, did you go to the restaurant? I said, no, I didn't go. He said, why didn't you go? He said, I told you it was a good restaurant. I gave you a great word of mouth referral. I said, well, after I told you that, I went online and I Googled it and I went to Yelp and I saw this review and they said that it wasn't really good with kids. So I didn't go. So that led to this whole discussion where basically my dad and I were saying, he's like, for my generation, me, 40 something years old, a word of mouth referral is just a lead. It's not a slam dunk. And for my dad's generation, a word of mouth referral was a slam dunk. Like if you told him to do something and it came from a trusted friend of his, he would go and do it without a moment's notice. And it kind of upset my dad because he was like, I told you it was good. And I said, yeah, Yelp trumped you. I'm sorry. And that's just the reality of the situation. I think that helps set the stage for why online reputation is important, because the word of mouth referral is just now one step in that process to getting a new customer.
That's right.
Totally got it, man. Thank you for that, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess the question is for Mike. How long have you been in business, and how do you market your shop at Autowerkes?
So Void is the owner of our shop, and Void is very active with our website, with his connections.
Mm-hmm.
He's known Carolyn for a long time. They're in the same 20 group. So it ended up being a seamless kind of thing to transfer over once we were looking for a new DMS to go to Shop-Ware. So we do some radio advertising for branding, and in the past he's done web web stuff, email campaigns and postcards and these types of things. But in today's world, that stuff doesn't really pull in a lot of people. We know that it's better to confirm your customers that you have and retain those that in the end is going to keep you going. And that's where having this kind of constant contact that Broadly allows us to have. So the website is very active. Voight always totes how he can watch somebody click on the website and then jump over and see them call our phone and find them. And so the website is definitely where people go to for information. Again, Google brings them to the website. They see the chat screen, and then we're able to get right onto Broadly. So that's kind of how we're at right now. We've been in business for a long time. Voight's been doing this for 36 years, but we've been in our current location for about the last 15, 16, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Long time. Thanks for sharing that, Mike.
Thank you.
And Steve, like how has online reputation helped you at your shop? Like managing the online reputation, how has that helped you at your shop?
Well, it's funny, the story of sharing about the father giving the word of mouth, because I have a similar experience. I actually grew up. My dad was a mobile gas station owner, and so back in the day, it was a long time ago, but it was full service gas. You ran out to the pump and pumped the gas, checked the oil, swept out the driver's side, a floorboard. It was. Everything was word of mouth then, and it was all, there were no other tools. So you just had to, it was people pleasing is how you got to where you're going to go. In the day of social media now, and I think everybody agree it's a wicked double-edged sword, because people just have this amazing sense of entitlement that, yes, you're building expectation. You've got people hopefully saying fantastic things, and but they arrive with this sometimes. I think an idea of the red carpet's going to roll out, and and band plays and stuff, and so it has that edge where it's like, well, there's an expectation being pre-built into somebody's mind. And if you don't meet it, even though you may have done an amazing job and repaired the car correctly and whatnot, it can bite you. And then becomes the issue of, well, how much damage is somebody doing? And I think it used to be significant. And I personally kind of feel like that's taken a little bit of a turn, where now most people, they see a negative review, it starts with an idea that this is just somebody's disgruntled. You can't make them happy no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to be in a place where we have hundreds of 5-star reviews and a few, bad reviews, some false and some where it didn't work out. So, it broadly has been amazingly helpful because, while I don't panic over a negative review, it does let me see, I live by you cannot manage what you can't measure.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have no idea of how people are coming to you, or what's spurning this on, or what's happening after they leave, then it's kind of pointless. So this is an amazing tool that allows you to kind of evaluate how your staff's doing, how your business is doing. Are you making the mark? What expectation are you setting? And then are you actually meeting that? So it's been a tremendous tool.
That's awesome. And thanks for sharing that, Steve. What would you tell other shops who are maybe considering to use Broadly?
Well, so there's an issue of, there's a lot of platforms out there, and I've tried many. So I've probably had at least 5 that I've gone through. And some have things that work better than others, but I was looking for something that allowed me enough control that I could change things that I didn't like how often are we going to knock on somebody's door if they haven't opened it, because some people just get annoyed by that. But I don't need to be monitoring it all the time, which I'm good at.
Well, it looks like we may have lost Stephen, Mike. He'll come back. He was on a roll, loved it. And, I guess it's important to charge your phone before you do it.
Hey, he's not here to defend himself, Carm.
I know he's not. He was on a roll, though. I loved it.
I know.
He brought up a great point, everyone, about negative reviews, Mike, to the panel. Have you ever bought anything online, and then before you actually click the switch because you thought this was the product you wanted, you scroll to the bottom to read the reviews, and it completely changed your mind, usually to the negative? And what bothers me is that anybody would keep that product for sale when the first 20 reviews were in the crapper. Yeah. And that's why in our business today, small town America, neighborhood professional service center, we have to live on that reputation.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting data around this, and Mike, I don't know, Mike at Autowerkes, I don't know if you can confirm this, but from my experience, obviously getting positive reviews online is a good thing for your shop and a good thing for your business. But I've read a lot of studies in multiple industries saying that when a business receives a negative review, if they're able to rectify that situation, that those customers actually have longer lifetime spend within those businesses than ones that would just normally give a 5-star review. And so I think that the ability to identify problems, whether legitimate or not legitimate, and fix them is a remarkably powerful tool. I know that I don't expect a business necessarily to fix issues that I have with them. And when those, if I do have a poor experience and situations are better, I'm actually more loyal to that business. And I, like I said, I think the data will actually support that in terms of lifetime customer spend. I don't know if you see that in your shop, or if you have a particular experience you might be able to note.
Oh, absolutely. I've always stated that if I can convert a customer that has a negative opinion about us, if I can convert them and make them satisfied, they'll be twice as loyal to us, or 3 times or 4 times. And then they'll become, like you said, they know that you're honest, you're truthful, and that you're going to take care of their problems no matter what. Absolutely. I've always lived by that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I live and die by the reputation management, and I have been for almost 10 years now. And it's interesting because you'll talk to shops and they have competitors and stuff, and they see 500 5-star reviews. The first question they usually ask themselves is who are they paying, or who they, to write these fake reviews, right? Because it just doesn't appear real, right? Authentic. But if you see 500 great reviews, a handful of average reviews and 2 or 3 negative reviews, but the owner took the time to respond to those negative reviews, that speaks more volume than 500 5-star reviews.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well. As long as somebody is attending to the comments or making, response to them, it's nice to have the owner of the company, on there responding to them. And the other side of this too is inside of our own businesses. When we have positive reviews or negative reviews, we review them with the technicians that were involved, and we celebrate those good ones. We lament over the with the bad ones. What could we do better, or what did we miss on this? And it's a big part of the business, is knowing how our customers feel and why they're coming to us.
Right. And I think along those lines is, sometimes it's a little counterintuitive. I know what I think and feel, but you kind of live, according to how you understand life and people. But people have interesting views on things. Something that I think just completely arbitrary, and people are just wowed by it. And then something I think we're doing really well, and they're like, meh. And so it's a good reference to be able to figure out what is making people, what are the parts that people enjoy about the service we provide, or my business, and and knowing, and being able to see it. And then it lets you step aside from maybe just your own tunnel vision, and I tend to have that, but allows me to see, okay, well, this is what people are thinking. And there can be a variety, but at least you've got a measuring stick, and so you've got something to work with.
People expect to see bad reviews. They just don't expect to see a pattern of bad reviews, right? It's almost like they want to go straight to that negative review, read it. And, people aren't stupid. They could read a paragraph and see that it was a disgruntled customer, somebody that maybe you guys had to fire, right? I wouldn't want somebody in my shop if I was that shop owner. Like, that's really the message that they take away after reading some of those negative reviews. So, yeah, this is a really good topic here.
Well done. Well done. Did you bring some information for us, Mike?
I did. In fact, I saw a little sneak peek. If you want to go ahead and throw that up there, that'd be great. Yeah. You want to go to slide 2, Carm? I'll kind of skip the intro here. Yeah. So the goal of Broadly is we want to help our clients build legacies, right? Broadly launched around the same time that Shop-Ware did, back in 2013. And our mission really is to help clients build their legacies, but we also realize that every shop is different. Every shop has a different goal. So what Broadly does is we tailor our communication and reputation plan around what that shop's looking to accomplish. So what their true needs and what their true goals are. So it's a very consultative, kind of lock into the arms approach. How do we do that? And again, it depends on what they want their legacy to be. Every shop is different, right? So legacy to some people could mean, it could be the impact that they leave on their family and the people around them. For others, it could be more broader than that. Maybe like the contributions they make in their community, right? Carm, you've known me for many years. I've personally visited over 1,300 shops around the country. I see a pattern with a lot of shop owners. So I believe like the legacy to many means leaving the industry and the world a better place than when they started. They're really truly invested in what they do. Obviously that's really deep, but that's a pattern that I've noticed in the 8+ years of being in the auto aftermarket. So whatever their definition of legacy is, Broadly can help with that.
Well, paying it forward, Mike, and philanthropy is, like, I think you nailed it. There's an awful lot of shop owners around the country, which I think makes us such a unique and strong, relatable, neighborhood business, is because of that, the paying it forward.
We launched a campaign at my former company called 1,000 Shop Visits, and we hit the road. We drove East Coast, West Coast, and when I'd go to a shop, I would put myself in the shoes of a customer. right? From the type of neighborhood it was in to was there ample parking? Was I greeted when I walked in? You could listen. It's funny when I sat in the lobbies of some of these shops, you could listen what the service advisors are telling the technicians. And I'm thinking to myself, like, somebody could take offense to that. That could make or break a review as well, right? So I sort of put myself in the shoes of a customer during every visit, and I noticed this pattern. Again, it's really building better communities and really building these legacies. See what the next slide is here, Carm. So what we do, so Broadly is an easy to use, as you see up there. It's a platform that helps grow your business at a lower cost. Our goal is very simple. We want to make it easy to communicate with your customers and future customers, and build a better reputation online. Because the reality is shops are competing with other shops in their area on their reputation alone. The best reputation and most reviews is always going to win. So how do you separate yourself from other competitors, right? Don't think 200, 300, 400, 500 reviews is enough. We want to keep growing on that number. Do me a favor, go ahead and do the next slide, Carm, if you can. See what that is. All right. Man, my favorite company, Shop-Ware, and how Broadly works together. I've known these guys for so long, and I just have a really deep admiration and respect for these guys. Adding David Tolkien to the mix just really sweetened the pot. I love that guy working at our former company. Looked up to him and admired him. And once I found out he was coming on board at Shop-Ware, I was just like, all right, Shop-Ware is complete now. So it's good to have you, Dave.
I'll send you your $20 tomorrow.
I thought you said it was 100. All right.
You didn't get it all yet.
All right, that'll be on the next panel, right? It's 20 every panel. So Broadly and Shop-Ware, we work exceptionally well together through not only from a partnership, but like integration, right? So it's been really great working with Shop-Ware. We've developed integrated tools that are really game changers for the auto aftermarket. There's a couple ways, for example, that we've integrated with Shop-Ware through seamless integration, and there's no manual uploads. Shops don't have to pull CSV files and do all the legwork. It's all automated. So all they have to do is close out a repair order, and then Broadly does the rest. Breaking down app barriers, like all through our app, adding links from Broadly to Shop-Ware. So for shops to have quick access to both stacks of software that they're actually using in their shop is critical. So those are just some of the ways that we integrate and work together with Shop-Ware.
Mike, if I can chime in for a second here.
Yeah, Mike.
Just because this is what I work with every day. And what I find amazing about both of these tools is they're both, a cloud-based setup, so that you can get to this information from anywhere. And so I have had customers who jump on our website on a Saturday to ask a question about their vehicle, and they may be in an emergency situation or not. And I get a blip on my phone, and I'm able to look up their history of their car through Shop-Ware. I'm able to communicate with them through Broadly without having to give my personal cell phone number out, and I'm able to do all that communication. I'm able to set up an appointment for them. I'm able to, if it was an emergency, hey, yep, have it towed to the shop. We'll get a look at it on Monday. It's just amazing how seamless this relationship you can build with your customers by using these tools that we have.
And you can do that sitting at your kitchen table, Mike.
In my underwear, yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's a real pretty picture.
There's a reason this podcast is only from this high up.
That's a great point, David. The pandemic has made us just love loungewear again.
That's right. Yeah, and you're right, Mike. No customer should fall through the cracks because of a lack of a communication. And that's why when we Broadly designed this platform, we wanted to be able to communicate with customers in real time, right? Being able to engage with customers in real time. So that example that Mike gave is being able to get a push notification instantly to your cell phone. Over 90% of text messages are read, right? Within the first, I think it's like 10 minutes I read or something. So when you design it and sort of mirror it to like a text message push notification, and then the interface, the Broadly app is designed like you're texting, but you're not texting from your cell phone, like Mike mentioned. it's separating yourself from your competitors. It's real-time communication, and it's a difference between, I always say one customer gained is a good customer gain. So I don't care if it's only 5 customers a month that actually you want to utilize that feature. If you look at the lifetime value of a customer, that's thousands of dollars in additional revenue just by adding 5, conservatively, ultra conservative, 5 customers a month from that feature. So,
Mike, you bring up such a good point. We are feature rich with Shopware in so many, even the apps that we use in our own daily life, and we sometimes say, I don't use that enough, or there isn't enough give and take. And to your point, sometimes it's just a very few interactions that make all the difference in the world. We don't have to have thousands of them to make it worthwhile.
The cool part about that, Carm, and Tolkien knows, I remember when I was doing presentations 8-9 years ago, I used to have to convince shop owners to open up a Facebook page. And I used to get my grandkids are on it. It's for the kids stuff. And you talk to those same shop owners today, which I still do. They've embraced Facebook. They're more Facebook user friendly than I am, right? So I'm very candid and rightfully so, because I care about helping a shop owner grow their business. They'll say, well, I don't like text messages. I don't like Facebook. I don't like this. Who cares what you like? Your customers live in this world, right? So you have to at least you don't have to be an expert at it, but just have a basic understanding of how this stuff works to help grow your revenue and move the needle on your ROI.
Any other great stories that could be told, David? Maybe you can start this off with our team here about the value of Shopware and Broadly together.
Yeah, and Mike kind of touched on it earlier when he was talking about what he's able to do with the 2 platforms. And like Mike, I spent a ton of time in shops and traveling all over the United States, and going into shops. And one thing I have seen, and I think everybody can agree with, is a shop owner wears a lot of hats, and they're constantly putting out fires, and it's very busy, and it's hard to find time to do things. And I think, I think using technologies like Shopware and Broadly together, I actually think help improves the quality of life and a work-life balance for people that work in a shop. If you're able to do work and get 1 to 2 hours of work done before you leave the house, and you're able to communicate with a customer, you're able to have them book an appointment. You can then even have the RO started. They can authorize the work before they get there. They're literally dropping off a car and leaving and putting and you don't have to get a signature, and you can do all of that from the privacy of your home or from your car or from wherever you're at. I think about improving quality of life for shop owners, and that's a big part. And I think when people have a better quality of life and a better work-life balance, they actually provide better service. And when you talk to shop owners, at least when I talk to them a lot, and they're like, on the days that we do drop the ball, because everybody drops the ball, sometimes it's about stress and it's about craziness. And this time in life right now doesn't make that easier. And so I think, embracing technologies like Shopware and Broadly that work really well together, I think reduces stress. And, some people, they're going to be like, oh, you're calling from California. All you guys do is just want to meditate and do yoga and be stressful. But, the reality is it's a good thing, and especially in these times in life. And so that's my pitch, is that good technology makes life a little bit better, and everybody needs a little bit of a better life.
It's a good thing, David said. That's why he'll never leave California, because it's a good thing to meditate.
It's good for the mind.
Good for the mind. Yep.
Just to reinforce what David is saying, it's exactly true. Once we switched to Shopware, I was able to actually go home on Friday night at 6 o'clock at night instead of 10 o'clock at night. And now on Sunday mornings, when everybody's asleep, I can do the work that I would have done Friday night till, midnight, or 10 o'clock at night if I had to, doing payroll, doing other things, reviewing what's coming up for the next week, what happened the last week. So it's truly is exactly that, better quality of life just by switching to Shopware. It's really crazy.
That's awesome.
David,
awesome.
There is one hell of a testimonial, because I heard the words quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
How do you connect a cloud-based piece of software as powerful as Shopware to the words quality of life? You just got to go through Mike. Mike's the guy. I mean, he's probably atypical of your customer.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I don't
Powerful.
I don't tend to unplug, so to speak, from work. I like to make sure things are done and make sure that everybody's got the information that they need. And if I'm able to do that from my home and interact with customers and take care of things, that's what it's easier to do that rather than wait for Monday morning when they're all piled up. Sorry about that.
Mike, you don't look at your smartphone at church, do you?
I probably do, yes.
Okay, just checking, because he said he doesn't unplug. he's away from the business, but he doesn't unplug, and I get that. Although his quality of life is up there. That's interesting. Stephen, you were going to say.
Well, I was thinking one night, my wife and I were sitting, just prior to going to bed, we're sitting there, and I'm kind of cruising my phone, and I get this Broadly pops up, and it's somebody just querying my car's broken down. Is there any chance that you can look at my car tomorrow? And so I'm able to respond, and then I get this, oh gee, what, I didn't expect anybody to reply, and I'm like, well, yeah, so I have the option or not, but I'm like, I was able to then just go into Shop-Ware, generate, I said, just shoot me your license plate number, I generate a work order, send over the diagnostic thing, tell them to drop the keys in the early bird night owl thing, and I can type some notes in my text for in the morning, like, hey, this car is there, this is what's going on, talk to the customer. I mean, it does make it so much more simpler as a shop owner rather than having to wait and talk to somebody tomorrow or be down there, because I usually get in around 9-ish, and I don't like to have to be here at 6 a.m. I did that drill for years and years. This just allows me so much more freedom, and getting on, being able to look at the work orders, see what my techs are doing, what they're saying to the customers, a little spell check here and there because, well, they're great techs, but grammar is everything. But it's just, that's so nice to be able to see what's happening, what is the communication, and with Broadly being able just to jump in and not only communicate on the backside, like how was your experience, whatever, but on the front side, it works out pretty nice too. Because there's one of those things where you're setting an expectation. These guys are going to help you out. But talk about meeting or exceeding expectation when they're going to help you at 10:30 at night when you're broken down. And then they just have that confidence, like, oh, wow, they can look at it in the morning. My world's not coming undone, which is people without their car, they often go there. So it's great the way the two can work together. I've got everything I need on my cell phone, where it's just like at any time I can see the ROs, I know what's going on. It really does ratchet down that apprehension. I used to hate to be away from my shop because you're gone and then you don't know what's going on, and that creates so much anxiety. Now I'd almost rather not be here, but
I hear you. Hey, just one more time to tell everyone that David Tulkin is with us from Shop-Ware, Mike DelaCruz from Broadly, who helps local auto shops grow through great customer experiences. Steve Scott's with us, owner of Garage 47, and Mike Bergeron, service manager of Autowerkes Freeport, Maine. Mike, you were hinting that you may have something secretive to tell us.
I do. So I don't know if you want to put up the slide because it gives a little teaser there.
Well, I will, but I'm not sure because it says careful looking at this. And, hopefully I'll be okay if I show it. Is it okay?
Give you a little virtual hand slap there.
All right, there it is.
I won't do that. There you go. Okay. So our clients talked and we listened, and that was a big selling point for me coming on board at Broadly. This is why I love my company so much is, the great Sam Walton said, if you want to know what's going on with your business, you talk to the front line. Okay. You interact with the shop owners and you listen to what they actually are looking for. So one of the most common questions that I would often get would be, if a potential customer messages me through my Google My Business page, will that integrate through the Broadly app? So I am so happy to say that beginning in a couple of weeks, that's going to be added as a feature to the Broadly app. So people will be able to message you through your Google My Business page.
Okay, now wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Big announcement, Mike.
My
Steve,
palms are sweaty here.
What do you think of that, Mike and Steve?
Again, that just makes it more seamless. One less place that you have to go to or rely on to get the information. So if we're already good with, using that broadly, then it's going to come right into there, and then it's just nice and simple and seamless. Makes it, again, easy.
And I like anything that makes me look better without me doing more. So, anything that enhances the way we're perceived and makes my life easier, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, it sounds like an easy button, Mike.
And just looking at the bigger picture, like right around 80% of consumers consider Google their first stop when trying to locate and select a business. So if we captured, I think it was either Mike or Steve who said, but you kind of cut out this one step. If we captured 10 customers each month, that selected you just because of this feature, that's 10 customers you probably would have never had, right? And then you factor in your average repair order times the amount of times you see these customers each year. And the last I read was Car Care Council says that on average, we see our shop 3 times a year. That's thousands of dollars in additional revenue by cutting out 2 or 3 different steps to try and connect with you. So that is a feature that we've been talking about for several months. And I'm thankful to the team, the development team at Broadly, the product team at Broadly, that we implemented that because it's super exciting. The second feature, as you all see there, is email campaigns. So obviously, we all experienced a weird kind of unexpected year, right? So we were introduced to this whole way of like doing contactless type of business. Being able to find a shop online, bring my car in, have it serviced, pick it up, pay my bill, all without even seeing or shaking anybody's hand. If you think that in itself is just, it blows my mind, right? But how were shops able to promote it, right? So that's one thing that I took away from this experience that we had this year. So one of the biggest challenges that shop owners face is actually telling their customers that, they can get their car serviced and still have a safe experience where, here's the bullet points. We're sanitizing everything before we start. All of our employees are wearing masks. We're putting steering wheel covers. We're putting seat covers. So showing their customers through email campaigns of the steps that they're taking to ensure their safety and they can get their car repaired. Shops collect hundreds, if not thousands, of their customers' emails. So now that they're able, like with the help of Broadly, to create email campaigns and all those bullet points of the steps that they're taking, it's and send it out to a mass audience. That's a game changer. So those are just some of the things that we've been working on for the past several months, and I'm super excited to say that the time is now. Starting October, I think it's the week of October 12th. This thing's going to be implemented as a feature in Broadly.
How exciting. I mean, well said, too, on how you explain that. I mean, critically important.
Thank you, Carm.
Well, look at this was enlightening. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for the chatter on Facebook. We're going to do this again next week, and we're going to be with Rick White and Carolyn Cocolette. We're going to talk about some analytics. It'll be our 3rd week of 3 weeks planned. We sure appreciate you all for being here. And again, any final comments? I don't want to. We lost Steve again. But that's what when he was here, man, he has some really great things to say. But let me go around the room, really. And let's start. Mike, I'll start with you. Then I'll go to Mike and then David. So, Mike, any final word? Mike DelaCruz?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you, Carm, for moderating this, and then Mike for joining. I realize this is pulling you away from your team, so I just really appreciate you being here. And then David Tolkien, thanks so much for everything as well. Online reputation is critical. As we all know, word of mouth 2.0. This is a big thing. If you don't have a strategy, find a strategy. If you think back to when reviews started happening, 10 years ago with like Yelp, it started off in this restaurant industry. Now you see restaurants with 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5,000 reviews. This is where the auto aftermarket's going. So don't settle for 200 or 300 reviews. Keep climbing those reviews, turn that 4.3 into a 4.9, that 4.9 into a 5.0 as you start to collect positive reviews and drown out those negative reviews. So Steve, I wanted to thank you as well for joining. We're just doing kind of final thoughts. So thanks, guys.
All right.
Steve, any final thoughts?
Well, I apologize for the technical issues. My building is like from the 50s, and consequently, we have challenges here and there. I did charge my phone. In fact, it's on a charger.
You heard me.
It's just we get these bleak spots. So I can't say enough about Shopware or Broadly. The two have just really enhanced my business. I have seen, I've been doing this a long time, 40 years in the automotive industry. And, both of these are tools really just help me out tremendously. They do take a lot of anxiety out of my life. They give me some freedom because I think most shop owners are just tired of having that. It's still a leash, but it's a really long one, so you have to be in your business, but this gives you the freedom to be in your business and not be at your business, and to feel like you're still right there on top of things. So I couldn't be happier with these two products, and I highly encourage anybody to look into it. It's made my life a lot better.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for the great words, Steve. Mike, I don't know, I heard something very interesting there. I've been in the business 40 years. Think of how many shop owners have been in the business 40 years, and they're just reluctant to change. So, I mean, you're a great role model, Steve. Thank you for that. Mike at Autowerkes Maine, any final?
So I think that sometimes when we implement a new product or something that a different service, sometimes it's really hard to measure it. And I think that was the biggest thing that I was able to figure out almost instantaneously with switching to Shopware. We were able to see a difference not only in the amount of time that it took to do things. We saved 25 hours, one employee 25 hours a week just by switching to Shopware and not having to do our old archaic system. So that's number one. Number two is you've got the 360 payments integrated. With COVID, we were able to start, having people pay remotely and really take care of people the way that they wanted to be taken care of. And then with Broadly coming in, again, I can tell you that our website, our Google reviews are at 80-ish reviews. Switching to Broadly, we're over 220 right now. And it just keeps climbing because they're able to do that. I don't know the stats on Facebook off the top of my head, but I mean, it's really measurable things that you can see improvement in your business day after day. And to me, that makes all the difference. It's not about what you're spending for these different things. It's about getting results and that it's easy to use.
Thank you, Mike.
What a great testimonial. Wow, great. David, I'll give you the last word, my friend.
I'm going to say do yoga and meditate, right? I mean, I want to thank everybody for being here as well. It was a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've been back in this space. I took a little hiatus outside of the aftermarket.
Were you meditating?
I'm glad to be back. Yeah, I went on a 2.5-year meditation. It was amazing. Yes, I reached status I never thought I would reach before. But no, I think there was a lot of good points raised today, but I do bring it all back to I think what technology is not made to be complicated. It's not made to be overwhelming. Obviously, there's a learning curve in the beginning, especially when you're changing a shop management system or marketing program. But I do think it's about improving the quality of life for everybody that's doing it. And that's definitely amplified during these times where we're all uncertain and working from home, and kids are not in school, and all sorts of things, and turbulent atmosphere out there in the country right now. So I think using technology to our advantage to make our lives easier and more streamlined and simpler, I think is a big picture, and really where I'm coming from. It's hard to sell that, but that's the higher level view in my opinion.
Thanks, David. Thanks again, Mike, Steve, Mike up there at Autowerkes in Maine. We'll be here next week, same time, same bat channel, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we'll do it all over again. And we'll talk about analytics. In fact, some people were saying they're excited about the analytics show. So good. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thanks, Carm. Thanks, everybody.